has its ups and downs. Turn your pretty face to an ugly frown. Seems that when I fix one thing.
Hello, welcome to The Awakening. I'm your host, Angela Brown. Today's topic for discussion is running at large, and I have a young man sitting across from me. His name is Anthony Kennedy. No, you're not related to the other Kennedys, are you?
No, sir.
Okay. No, ma'am. We're going to be talking. He's running at large here in Bowie, and I'm here today to give him a break, and I hope you'll enjoy the questions, and I hope you enjoy what he has to say. Welcome to The Awakening. I got cold hands. You got warm hands.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about you, Anthony. First thing you did, you called me up.
Yes, I am a 30-year resident of this county. I've been living here in Bowie for the past 3 years. I graduated from Bladensburg High School in 1988.
Good school.
Yeah, great school, great
I like
history,
it.
great tradition. Received a football scholarship at Virginia Tech, and from there on, I came out and had a trial with the Dallas Cowboys in 1993, and played a little.
You like them? They're my favorite.
Yeah, they were my favorite also growing up in this area. And then I went on to play a little football in the Canadian Football League and went back and finished my degree and decided to get into teaching and mentoring.
Okay. Men, women, children?
Basically student athletes. My heart for mentoring is with student athletes. A lot of student athletes are misinformed.
How?
They're misinformed because a lot of the parents, allow the students and to athletes to say that they think they're going to go to a bigger and a better school for sports, when it's not about the sports. They need to be looking for a bigger and better school for the education.
I agree with you 100%.
So looking at that, if a lot of kids here in the county feel if they don't go to Virginia Tech for football or Georgetown for basketball, that they can't go to college.
Oh, okay.
Disagree with that. You need to pick your school based upon your educational limits. And that's what I want to change when I'm mentioning these kids. I was lucky and fortunate to go to Virginia Tech for football, to one of the best schools in the country.
Why were you lucky?
Well, I was a good athlete. Wasn't a great student, but I was a good athlete. And what I try to tell the kids is be a little bit better than me as far as being a student. I was what you call an athlete student. I wasn't a student athlete. And if I have any regrets, is that I would have done it a little differently. And
spent more time on your education?
Yes, I should have. Therefore, that's why when I went pro, I had to come back to finish school. I regret that.
Did you have to go back and finish school after you become pro?
Yes, because people think
you didn't know what else to do, did you?
No, people think because you sign a pro contract, they think that you're going to be rich.
Oh my God!
And they don't realize that 99.9% of those guys who sign that NFL contract, they got to come back and work somewhere.
Really?
And they more likely they have to use that education that what they were going to school for in the first place, what they should have been going to school for in the first place.
Do you feel that you wasted that part of your life?
I wasted about 3 or 4 years that
That's a lot.
I thought, but then again, when I got my scholarship from Bladensburg, no one had gotten a football scholarship in the past 15 years. I didn't.
So that probably said, Anthony, you're smart.
Yeah, I didn't have the role models to look up to for that. I was a pioneer, but after me, we had 30 to 40 guys who come out within the next 8 years who got Division I or Division I AA scholarships after me in football. So I felt like me staying at Bladensburg and doing the things that I did helped others behind me
to come forward, huh?
Yes, and I'm proud of it. I look back. I did make mistakes, but
we all make mistakes. That's how we learn.
We all make mistakes, and that's why I want to mentor kids to help them, so they can, kids and also parents, so they can get to the realization of, okay, there's a school or college for every kid that's out there, every athlete that's out there that want to play. You just have to be persistent and looking for that school. But you have to start early. Most people don't realize that it even starts in the 8th grade now.
Yes, it does. Yes.
For your transcripts and getting everything you get
Yes.
done to prepare your kids for that next level. It is so competitive around this country, and parents need to realize that the competition out here
It's fierce.
it's fierce.
It's fierce.
Whether it's athletics, whether academics. So you just have to get your kid prepared for the real world that's out here now.
How do you prepare your kids? Suppose you had a kid right now, 8 or 9 years old. What would you say to them by the way that you went with your life?
The first thing is I wouldn't have them playing football. I wouldn't have a guy playing football.
Why? Tell us why, because there's so many kids who have that dream of getting rich and the fancy cars. You know what I'm saying? And they're killing one another for this garbage.
I think that playing football at such a young age, you're teaching, I'm going to say little boys.
Yeah, well, 8, 9, 10-year-olds start, don't they start that age?
They start that age, but you have to be worried now. You asking a kid to be in the most violent sport in the world. And
I think it's tough.
then when you get a call home from a teacher about that same kid being aggressive, hello, you kind of contribute to that because you're asking the kid that age. Because in football, you're taught when you're down, when everything's down, that means you go harder, you fight and you come out. That's building aggression in your kids.
Right. And then if they don't make it, what happens to them, Anthony?
Now you have a kid who's has a whole lot of aggression that's been built into
Probably
him.
a lot of anger inside.
And a lot of
that
anger.
kid, yeah.
Yes, it's hard. I mean, I don't have kids yet. We're planning.
Take your time.
So, in that aspect, I didn't start till I was 12 years old.
Okay.
Playing organized ball, 11, 12 years old.
What position did you play?
Well, actually, I started out because I was big. I played defensive end, and I played tight end. And then I had boys club. I had a growing disease, and then I couldn't play for 2 years, and then I had to play high school. And then the rest was history. I ended up being all-time leading rusher, all-time leading scorer at my school. I hold a state record for receiving yards in the game.
That's wonderful.
So yeah, it was just one of those things. But I didn't start real young, and the kids nowadays are starting a whole lot younger than back 25, 30 years ago.
So you started when you were 12 then?
Yes.
A lot of kids start like in their 8 or 9 and they get hurt. They get their little knees hurt, they get Achilles tendons in their ankles. It's a lot of trouble with them kids. What can you say to a parent who wants to see that child excel and just push him out there no matter what and say, do it, do it, do it?
Well, I tell them be careful because
Number one, be careful.
1, be careful. 2, you have to understand that football is a sport where you're within an inch away every time you hit to being seriously hurt.
I saw that yesterday.
Yeah, you will see it every
game.
And it's the only sport at the beginning of the year during preseason where you have at least one teenager die every year around the country. And it's a cruel sport. And understand, the parents need to understand, if you put your kid in this sport, the things that could happen, okay? I was lucky. I didn't have any serious major injuries other than a separated shoulder. I was lucky. A lot of friends I have weren't as lucky as I was. But I just tell them, just be careful. Make sure that your kid wants to do it.
Okay.
You can't push it on your kid if your kid really don't want to do it.
But a lot of children do that for their fathers, though.
Well, I mean, you can't.
You can't push your child.
Can't push your child. I wasn't pushed.
Okay.
What pushed me is I was a single child, and I was the only child, and I hate losing.
You hate losing, okay.
That's what pushed me. I hated losing. So I was always, and everyone who knows me, I was the worst loser in the world.
What'd you do?
I
Probably jumped around, hollered and screamed,
jumped around, hollered and screamed. I hated my older cousins because they used to beat up on me because when I would lose, I would just be the worst little kid. But that drove me to make it because I couldn't stand losing.